spent a lot of years with him. Tell us about just getting to know him and what kind of coach he is.
He's a competitor. I think what he brings energy-wise and just his attention to detail. His players always play hard, but they're just really well coached. I mean, they pick up stances. They pick up all these small, minute keys that you don't really expect D linemen to pick up. And like I said, they're just extremely productive. I know they're always tops in the country in sacks, so he's been a great addition for us here.
Coach, what do you think of Connor Tollison? Obviously, his freshman year you weren't here for, but he made a big jump in his sophomore year, but still had some struggles on kind of some snap issues. Just what are your thoughts on him, and what are you working on with him this offseason?
Yeah, I think he knows his deficiencies, right? He's obviously been attacking his weaknesses. That was his goal. He's also, he's got a packed in the OLine room that he won't have any pre-snap penalties. And thus far, Mac practiced 5 today. He hasn't had any. So he knows, that's my biggest challenge to everyone in the room is just really attack your weaknesses, right? We'll continue to build on your strengths. That was one that really showed up in some critical situations. But he's only going to grow from it and continue to get better.
What's been your impressions of Caden Green since you got to work with him?
He's been great. I mean, he's been a good fit for our room. He's really bought in to just the culture, him coming from Oklahoma and having the success that he had, and playing Texas and playing some of those bigger schools. I don't think the room, the competition's any different than what he was facing. I actually met with him again this morning. He's just eager to learn. He's eager to improve every day and just try to perfect his craft. So I think the world of the kid. He's been nothing but great. I mean, he's a great student, but just a great addition to the room.
Coach Cameron Johnson, is the plan to move him over to the left side, and just where do you see him fitting in?
Yeah, bringing Cam coming with me from Houston, he started really 3 years there at left guard, so just a little bit more, comfort, I think, and then just having a new guy with Caden, just having somebody that's mature and that was in the system last year. That was kind of my initial thought. So just having somebody for him to rely on and lean on and build some chemistry, which they've done a pretty good job thus far.
Coach, how fast or slow is this process to find a new starting guard? Is this something out of spring camp that you guys want to have a good idea, at least competition-wise, that we got 2 or 3 guys, or is it something you want to attack in the portal? How do you?
I think the key, and Coach Drinks hit on it, this is really a big growth week, for a guy like Logan Riker, for a guy like Tristan Wilson, just to see just how far they can, how much better they can be than they were the previous week. Ultimately we want to do what's best for the team. Right now, I don't really see just a ton of holes. I think we have just about what we need, but if there's an opportunity for us to add a better piece, we're obviously entertain that.
One of the new guys, Jalen Richardson, curious, I know he can play a bunch of different places, but what you've seen out of him and where you think his best spot is?
He's been one that I really have been impressed with. He's working some left tackle. He does have the position flexibility to move to the right. But I'm really glad that we have him. I mean, he's a technician. He's one of those kids just adjusting to the speed of the game. He's gotten better and better. Each practice, he's obviously in a position to earn his number. So like I said, he's got some technical things that we're just working through, but I mean, I've been extremely proud of him. Just picking up a new offense, just transitioning from junior college ball to now, so I can't say enough good things about him.
Coach, last year Marcellus Johnson was the swing tackle for this team, and he was on some 6-man sets or coming in, filling in. Doesn't get talked about a lot, but how important is finding the next swing tackle for this team?
Yeah, it's extremely important. Just having a guy like Javen, a guy like Mitch Walters, who's played, some significant snaps, which he's another guy that I've been pretty impressed with thus far. Those guys provide you an opportunity to get heavy and create some mismatches for defensively, defensive personnel-wise. So that is important, but just, throughout the week in practice, continuing to work those guys and so they can have some chemistry if something unforeseen happens, some type of injury. So that's kind of been my thought with it.
might be dumb to ask about the potential of moving a 2-year starter, but is Armand a guy who you could move around depending on how it all works out?
You know, I try not to create just a ton of holes, you know what I mean? And, you know, it took me a lot. It took me and Coach Drink a while to get to, hey, move Cam to left and, you know, obviously create some competition at the right guard spot. So I think he's comfortable at right tackle. I think, you know, moving forward, you know, he knows that in the NFL probably have to bump inside, but as of right now, I want him to, you know, really focus on the right tackle position and being, you know, the best he can be.
Johnny Walker said the other day that he thinks Armand is the best run blocker in the country. He said Caden's not that far behind. How would you assess how those guys are doing in that?
You know, they're improving. They, you know, I've spent a lot of time with Armand, you know, this, you know, January after the bowl game, just some of the areas of his game that he needs to improve on. You know, I think, you know, he's got some wasted movement, some things of that he really has been very, you know, hard on himself about trying to correct. We do run the outside zone. I mean, we do it every day. We're gonna do the same individual just about every day. So we just want to master that. And there's still something I can find, just the smallest thing. But the kids, like I said, the culture in the room has changed significantly. They're just eager to improve. It's no, you know, there's no complaining, no BCDing or whining. They just want to, you know, reach their full potential.
Going back to Logan right here, just, you know, what does he need to show you to show that he's ready, I guess, for next time?
You know, it's just confidence. I think for him, just, you know, Logan is, you know, a physical specimen. I mean, he's going to test through the roof and all of those things, but just, you know, just the confidence, you know, trusting his technique, you know, just knowing and being confident in his assignment, which he's making significant strides there. But you know, I'm patient with him because I know he's rather young. He hasn't been here a full year just yet. But I also have really high expectations for him, and he knows that. And I challenge him, you know, every day to reach those if he wants to get in the mix and be the starter. I mean, he's got to rise to those other guys. I mean, those other guys have, you know, a ton of college experience, but just physically, you know, I've got to do a good job of preparing him, putting him in good situations.
How much closer is he now than he was when he first got here to getting?
It's night and day. Yeah, it's night and day. I mean, we spend a lot of time with him, you know, and you know, more, you know, just one-on-one situations, just trying to really teach the game. You know, in some settings, most kids, you know, and that's what I do, try to figure out which kids don't like asking a ton of questions in that group setting and which guys are confident doing that. And, you know, he's one of those guys that, you know, he'll ask you some stuff, but, you know, I just want to make sure that I'm doing a good job and thoroughly explaining it so he can improve and get better, make some strides out there on the field.
Brandon, with what you were talking about earlier about not wanting to move guys over and create a bunch of holes, how do you kind of balance that with wanting to have a versatile group that is ready for when injury hits?
You know, ultimately in my mind, I have about 8 kids, you know, and that's really the NFL model. We have a swing tackle, you know, a backup center, and a guard that can play both, left or right. And what I do throughout the week in practice is, you know, when we do those walkthrough situations, I roll guys like every 2 or 3 plays, so the combination's never the same. And, you know, if like I said, if there's any injury, you know, we've taken countless amount of reps throughout the season. I know, you know, how this guy's gonna combo step with me, you know, how he's gonna pass off this twist. So it's really not a drop off, and you just plug and play guys.